This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello, and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, coming to you with the latest breaking news. They figured us out. They figured out the cool kids, guys. They figured out that we know how to get absolutely every inch of value out of our cards, and because we were just destroying people using Fae of Wishes and Raven's Warning to utilize our 15-card sideboard in Best of One, a format without sideboarding between games, because of that, they have made the decision. The Wizards of the Coast are nerfing Best of One sideboards and reducing it from 15 cards to 7. You only get 7 cards. The announcement came out on the website not that long ago in the state of the game, and they are saying, well, why are they making this change? Cards and sideboards have 2 uses. Best of 3 match, you change your deck, and the other is to be a Wishboard. And they think that the Wishboard with the learn mechanic becomes silly, and they want it more, as they put it, balanced by reducing it to just 7 cards. So why am I talking about this today when learn hasn't been released yet? It's a mechanic in the new set that lets you pull cards directly out of your Wishboard in Best of One and play them in your hand. The reason is because some of you have decks that use Wishboards, because you have Fae of Wishes in your deck if you watch the channel, or Raven's Warning. And I wanted to give you a look at what I would do with the 7-card sideboard for this deck. So while we're kind of also completing the ultimatum cycle by playing probably the best deck in the format, one of the very best decks in the format, has really good win rates, very hard to beat, very fun to pilot if you don't enjoy aggro, and if you like something closer to a ramp strategy. And that is Sultai Emergent Ultimatum. This deck, with the right tuning and in the right hands, is a very good Best of One deck, and it will get some new tools in Strixhaven. I'm going to talk about those at the end of the video, show you 3 cards that I'm thinking about running in this deck. The next few videos on the channel, I'm going to show you decks that you can ladder with that you may not need to get cards from Strixhaven with. When a new set comes out, there are 2 kinds of people: those who get really excited and want to dive in and try all the new cards, and those that wait to see people like that try the new cards, look at what works and what doesn't, and decide later what to craft. And in the meantime, they need a deck to play. So for the players who don't plan to dive all up into Strixhaven right away, if you want to play a Yorion pile, the Emergent Ultimatum deck is probably the best one to run. And since your sideboard is about to get nerfed on the update day, which I believe is April 16th, Thursday, next Thursday. That's the update day. On that day, when it happens, what they're going to do, I believe there's a picture of it here in the article. They're just going to put this split here where it says the first 7 cards are your Best of One cards and the next are your Best of 3 cards. So if you already have a deck in Best of One that plays a sideboard, it's just going to be your top 7 cards or your top 6 cards if you have a companion. Remember, your companion spot is a sideboard spot. So if you run a companion and you run a Fae of Wishes, you now only have 6 cards to fetch. Okay, very important to get that out there. So before they cut your sideboard in half and you go to search for your Ugin and then realize it's not there, I'm giving you my update to Sultai Emergent Ultimatum and what I would put in the 7-card Wishboard, or 6 cards if you want to take out the Yorion, with the update that's going to happen next Thursday. So I've got a Tormod's Crypt because it's great against Rogues and Cycling and Kroxa, and it's 0 mana. I've got a Disdainful Stroke as my counter of choice. I figure if you're going to only fetch 1 counter from your Wishboard, you want to counter something big. Disdainful Stroke hits all the big things, whether they're creatures or planeswalkers or spells. So for me, the one of is a Disdainful Stroke. Soul Shatter, something that can hit things of all various sizes. Now, it's weird because I don't always run a Soul Shatter when I had a 15-card board. I just run a variety of removal spells like Heartless Act, Eliminate, Bloodchief's Thirst. But since I need something that can hit everything because I only get 1 choice, I'm going with Soul Shatter. Then I have 1 Extinction Event for the Sweeper. I already have 4 Shadow's Verdicts in the main deck, so 1 Extinction Event is an easy choice there. Having the Alrund's Epiphany in the board for fetching with the Fae of Wishes when you cast the Fae of Wishes off the Ultimatum is definitely still worth it. So I'm keeping Alrund's Epiphany in this particular Wishboard, but wouldn't put it in a deck that doesn't have Emergent Ultimatum in it. And then the Ugin, I always say it's a trap, but The smaller the Wishboard gets, the better an Ugin is, as it's a catch-all. It can hit artifacts, enchantments, planeswalkers, a board freaking full of stuff. It exiles everything. So, especially in a ramp deck, Ugin is still a worthy card for your Wishboard. The rest of the main deck, you've probably seen this. You've probably seen plenty of this. And going over the individual card choices, go back to, I believe I called it the best of the best Sultai Ultimatum deck from a few weeks ago, the one that Paulo ran. Watch that video. You can get more of a discussion of all of these cards. This video is both a way for me to rank up using a deck I enjoy and have showcased a few times, but give you the update with the Wishboard and also talk about some new cards at the very end. So now that we've done that, let's get the dedication. Oliver, we're going to say Papa Nasta. It goes on further. Oliver, thank you very much for hitting the join button below and joining the Cool Kids Club. Getting a membership there is $4.99 a month. You get access to my deck lists a day early, as well as access to videos that are for members only and early access to special projects. And if you sign up at the right time, there is just this chance you might have a video and a cosmetic dedicated to you. It's overdue. Pelucranos has been doing some great work on the channel lately. Come on in, Hydra buddy. Come on in and join the cosmetic clan. All right, it's time to dive in. Remember to stay till the end. We've got we're going to look at some new cards that you may want to craft for this deck, and they're not all rare. So that's nice. And also, on the 15th, I believe, is the early access event that Wizards of the Coast puts on. It's the streamers taking a look at the new cards and showcasing them on Twitch. So mark your calendars and make sure you come over on the 15th. Also a great time for a Twitch Prime sub if you're into that. Now let's dive in. Let the nonsense begin. Okay, 2 lands, Omen, Cultivate. Not much removal. I'm a little worried we're going to get run over here on the draw. Doesn't look great. Okay, we are a Luminarch aspirant away from defeat. I guess we could always draw Shadow's Verdict in the top how many cards. Daxos. Not as bad. Still not good. But yeah, I guess here this is all about Shadow's Verdict now. Is it in the top 4 cards of the deck? Because we can scry 2, draw 1, then have our draw for draw step, then cultivate. And then maybe it'll be in the top. Maybe it'll come just rolling off the top there. Okay, opponent missing land. If their clock isn't good, we might get a few more looks. Dig, dig, dig. Nope, nope. Hello! Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. All right, what do we need? Grab another black. Grab another... These both make green, so I guess I'll just grab another blue. Put the blue down. Just make the opponent think. Maybe it's not that important that I have the black mana. They still don't find a land. They find more fodder. I love it. Feed me more. It is, as the day I'm recording this, it's the first day of WrestleMania, so I'm allowed to make lots of wrestling references today. Why? Because I make the rules. And that will not help. It gets exiled from the graveyard as well. The card that the white life gain deck hates the most by far, Shadow's Verdict. Man, every time that they cultivate into a Shadow's Verdict when I'm playing life, it feels so bad. So we can hold up the Eliminate. We can foretell the Epiphany, but it doesn't really matter once we play this land. We need to play green the next few turns, so we'll definitely do that. So we may as well hold this, buy this, and eliminate something. And it should be smooth sailing. Okay. No graveyard for poor Lurie here. We don't even need the ultimatum. Let's go with an Epiphany. Make some 1/1s. go with Kiorabest the Sea God. Make an 8/8. And then next turn we Yori and Kiorabest the Sea God. Whoa. That is a little bit foretelling, but we're up against Yorion, so we should have time. If they outramp us, though, it's really bad, but if we get to 6 mana and can go, like, Epiphany into stuff, it should be okay. It's a ramp spell of its own on 6. I don't know. I wouldn't keep this if it were, I think, any companion other than Yorion. So we play the pathway on blue because this makes everything but blue. White, black, green, blue. Okay, drew a cultivate. We could shock in the restoration to cultivate now, but I don't think we need to. Right? Because if we cultivate this turn, we go up to 4. And then the next turn we're at 5, where we don't really have a play. And then the next turn we Epiphany, and we go from there. And we'd have to give up on the restoration, which might still be useful. So I'm going to play the Triome, and I'm going to foretell another Epiphany and say go. If you're not under pressure, it's okay to cultivate on a different turn other than turn 3. It's only truly important when the opponent's trying to beat you to death. That's not nice. That's going to take one of our cards from us. So we have a lot of green. We definitely want blue, so that we can at least threaten to cast the restoration. And we can get another green with the passage, so this is fine. Opponent gets into our hand. We get to throw either the Epiphany or the Vorinclex at them next turn. I'm sure they're going to take the Sea God. We don't have that many cards in our hand for the restoration. And we'll see what happens here. A big question when playing the mirror is, did somebody bring negates and mystical disputes? Do they run counter magic? They say go. A lot of ways to play it, guys. Like, we could just go for the Vorinclex. If the opponent kills it, that's not great. I think we'd rather just Epiphany into a restoration here and rebuild our hand. There's still a chance that we could be the first one to cast an ultimatum in this game. Let's get one more green. That fills out the emergent ultimatum cost. Let's go for the Epiphany. No counterspell, feels good. But there is removal. You can tell because there's a stick now that these are here. So let's see if the opponent wants to kill them. All right, let's go again and then cast Restoration after we draw the card next turn. So there's going to be plenty of pressure for them to think about. Look at the birds doing bird things. I don't think they have a counter because of the way the Epiphany is resolved earlier. And there's an ultimatum. So we could play the tap land or save it to cycle. I think we'll save it. Let the opponent have a turn here. We don't want to just take all of them, do we? Yes, actually we do. Eliminate on one bird. The fact they didn't do that sooner does tell me they probably have a Heartless Act, or at least they kept up appearances to keep us from casting the Vorinclex that they know about. Now they don't have... Okay, now they're not leaving up Heartless Act. They're going to take a big hit. But they are leaving up Negate as if they drew it. But with a Nightmare about to go off anyway, we're going to cast this. Okay, well, they don't have mana up to stop the Tibalt, but part of the problem now is the Vorinclex is stuck in our hand. So what do we do? They're not on enough mana. Like, they do not have enough mana to ultimatum next turn, so we don't need to hit their hand. We should just try to hit them with hard-hitting cards. Maybe Seagate Restoration to draw a ton more. Valky. Let's do like that. I think that's better than Fae of Wishes as well. Although I guess we could wish for a Disdainful Stroke and then we probably just win. Okay. I wish I'd taken Disdainful Stroke over the Restoration or the Valky. All right, they put away the Valky. Cast this, cast this. Draw a million. And turn. So the Vorinclex is not a lethal threat, but they let us have an extra turn last time, so we probably go for this yet again. So much. It's so much pain. All right, that. Are we out of Epiphanies? We're out of Epiphanies. It had to happen sometime. Valky. Wishes. Let's also hit their hand, so they can't really come back. That's what the Predation's in there for, everybody. Oh, they do have this Nightmare, which is going to go off. That's annoying. The Nightmare actually can take a Disdainful Stroke if we fetch it. Okay. Cast granted for free. Cast Tybalt the Cosmic Imposter. So, from the sideboard, what do we grab? We can grab another Epiphany. Soul Shatter. Soul Shatter. What are they going to do for 6 mana? They haven't foretold an Epiphany, so they're not doing that. I think we just take this Epiphany and foretell it, because if we take the Stroke, they'll just take it with the Nightmare. Steal and eliminate. Whoa! I stole a Predation. All right. Well, in that case, they took the Predation. They did not want me to see what was in their hand. In that case, we're going in. We're going in with your Predation. Oh, no. Coma. All right, we'll take their Binding. There's still another mana away from casting Coma, so this is fine. So there's Sultai Control. They're not an Ultimatum deck. They might still be, but it's very rare that they play Coma. Verdict gets rid of the 1/1s. Vorinclex. Let's get some extra loyalty, shall we?
So many painful memories.
Now what? Think we just play the tap land and say go. We'll behold the multiverse if we must. We're threatening to ultimate the Tybalt, which is insane. The graveyard doesn't get exiled because we still have this. The opponent goes for the Coma. Okay. Let's go for Behold. Binding does work, but not quite the way we want. All right. Makes a 3/3. They can use it to tap the Tybalt so it doesn't work. But then we get to kill the Coma with the Binding. Yep. Opponent made an effort. Like, they needed me to not have any way whatsoever to kill the Coma here, but I do. And that's game. All right, we have the Pelucranos in hand. We have a Verdict and a Cultivate, and we're on the draw against another Yorion. I mean, the only good card that we have is the Cultivate. These are, like, this is okay, but it's not going to stop the opponent from going over the top, and this is pretty bad. I think we keep it because we have the ramp spell. We're just asking our deck to draw a ramp and a big card, but I don't love it. We could definitely brick off here and just do nothing. Could happen. There's a ramp card. Okay. All we need now is an ultimatum, and I think we're great. Snow-covered lands. Ooh, what are those for? What you doing over there? Wow! Must be my birthday. We'll see what kind of deck our opponent is running. Are they going to be the kind to counter our spells? Make this a little harder? Oh, all right. They play Jwari Disruption, Sultai, Snow, and they cultivate. All right. They de-ramped us and ramped themselves. Let's see how good their draw is. Okay. Magic is weird sometimes, guys. Green and black, yeah. So another blue, and now we go get green, and we go get black. Both teams have cultivated. Our opponent buys Yorion. Let's see how they feel about Polukranos the Unchained. It's a very large creature. Can attack for a good amount of damage. Probably needs to be killed one way or another. But it's very hard to kill. Eliminate and Heartless Act are the two most popular spells for killing things, and that doesn't do it. And Shadow's Verdict doesn't do it either. Omen of the Sea. Makes their Yorion a lot better. Without it, it would just be a sad Yorion. With it, it's a very good card. All right, guys, they're going to... That Jwari Disruption looks like it's going to get them the opportunity to ultimatum first, which is usually all it takes. Okay, they're going to bind the Polukranos and set up for an even better Yorion. We have a Tome. All right, so if they Yorion next turn, I guess that's better for me. So we'll play the Tome, which they're probably going to destroy. I'm sure they're going to destroy. If they don't, it might be to hold up counter magic. We know about Jwari. In case we drew something to play this turn, like another Tome, we just do it right there. Draw then. I guess I'll put the upkeep stop. May still use this. Especially if there's something we would fetch with the ultimatum. We don't want to draw it. Oh, okay. Hi. I got two of them. I got two of them. How good are you at countering spells? If they pass here, they might just be bluffing. What do you guys think? So they didn't play Yorion. Yeah, they're either bluffing or they do have something. Another Jwari would be heartbreaking. And they usually run two. Do we just go for it? If we let them have the first one, it could be game over. Do we go for it? Do we not have the... No, we do have the green. Whatever. Put him to the test. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. You ain't got it. You ain't got it. Oops. Ah, my finest hour by far. All right. Haven is here. Yorion's here. Oh, trust me, I'm considering the shame scoop. Then I'll try to do a little better than that, but can't promise much. Okay, 1 to the top. Could be ultimatum time for our friend. Scry. Hello. Yorion of our own. Let's fight Yorion with Yorion, shall we? Their target's better than ours, but I'll blink my book for some more draws. Here's the Heartless Act. They do have the mana for it. How dare you kill a Yorion? Truly heartless. Truly a heartless act to destroy a Yorion in that fashion. So, you kept 1 card on top. Is it an ultimatum? It's a Vorinclex. Okay. So, do I have to worry about my life total? The question here is if we scry with the Vorinclex in play because of the ability, it doesn't add a counter to the tome. I think I'll do it now just in case we decide that we do want our life total to matter, especially when I'm keeping on top anyway. Okay, so now what? Third ultimatum out of our 80 card pile. Does it get the job done? Now remember, we can't fetch the Kiorabest the Sea God. If we do that, if we fetch Kiorabest the Sea God, it won't go off. We need the Epiphany. What else do we need? Heartless Act or Extinction Event can help remove something. Valky comes in with half counters. But if they give us Valky, we can plus it and then minus it, I believe, if they put away the Heartless Act or the Extinction Event. I think we'll go with the Heartless Act to target the Vorinclex. They put away the Valky. Okay. So this, destroy you. This, make burbs. And then Maze Mind Tome has to draw us into more gas. Come on, Tome. Maybe I should have drawn with a card without putting a counter on it just now. Oh, that would have been smart. Right before it died. Ah, missed opportunity. Could have had only 1 counter on this Tome still. Seagate Restoration draws a bunch of cards. Tome draws cards. Opponent is at 20. I am at 10. I think we can try to block a Yorion. I think we should draw more cards. Let's first draw with Tome to get the most that we can out of the Restoration. Wait, I might get worried here. I might get worried. No! Okay, whatever. They won't worry me the 3rd time. My greed says I must do this. You wanted it, didn't you? Admit it. Admit it on the internet. Yes, you watching at home, you wanted me to get worried there. You really did. All right. I believe if we stay alive, we will win this game. We're out-carding them. Although, of course, if they have the ultimatum, we could definitely lose to that. There's the Heartless Act for the bird. And a Nightmare for the other bird. But we made them use their spells to get rid of them. And a Pelucranos. Okay. Okay, that's kind of scary. That's a lot of trouble. We can bring back our Pelucranos. It's freaking huge. We're definitely going to take another turn, so let's just do that first. Now what are we going to do with the remaining time that we have? We have 3 mana. We can go up to 4. We could cultivate and have more mana in the future, or we could draw. I think drawing is definitely it. Okay. I might be eating a Pelucranos with a Pelucranos, guys. Can you believe it? See if we can find an answer to either one of these creatures. Okay. More cards. Love it. We'll just keep going with cards. They'll all be lands. It's not that big of a deal. All right, let's bring you out. We have to make sure we stay alive. Of course, the opponent's going to take the restoration, which is sad, but we have to stay alive. There's just no other way to really do it, is there? I believe there's still some basics in the deck. Nom nom nom. Graveyard is 12. They can bring back a very big Hydra. It's kind of scary. It's very scary. It's very scary. They're going to take the restoration, and gosh, what happens next? What happens next? They get to bring back their Pelucranos. Our Pelucranos can fight their Pelucranos. We have 3 cards in the graveyard. We need 6 to bring this back. I don't think I have enough mana to do it all. But if they fight this, you know, their Pelucranos counter total goes down if they fight these. We're not necessarily dead. It's very close. Rope comes out. All right, let's scry. I hate upkeep scries, I really do, but I think here having the right card is so important. This is like the turning of the tide. Beautiful, very beautiful. The extinction event can get rid of the Pelucranos forever, but let's do that after we've done with ours. So we'll keep binding. Now what? So we want to bind our opponent's Hydra. We can do that now. They fight our Hydra probably. Do we have enough to bring it back? We don't. And then it gets exiled by this. Other option. We could blow up the Nightmare. Keep our graveyard so that our Pelucranos is more likely to live and try to survive next turn. Oof. Okay. That's really close, because if the opponent has 2 removal spells, we could die. That's really absurdly close. How important is our Pelucranos to winning this game? Probably not that important. So let's attack first. Let's try to keep this out of the graveyard. But I'm sure the opponent will fight it as soon as we play this, and I don't think there's a way around it. Yep, snap, snap. Very close match. Really interesting. All right, untapped land lets us cycle 2 Triomes, so we'll do it like that. Goodbye, Pelucranos. You are a worthy warrior. Opponent still has theirs. That's why we keep the extinction event. Because they're probably going to bring it back out. No, they're going for cultivate. Oh wait, they can do both. They can do both. But if they do that, they can't eat a bird. Haha. Got him. And man, if those birds stick around, they're going to have Death Touch. And that's when it gets real. That's when it all gets real. Man, I've drawn 8 more cards than my opponent. I must have done something wrong to not win this game, where I resolved the ultimatum, drew a ton more cards, and I'm still in here, like, I don't feel like I've got this yet, even though they're down to 1 card. I must have done something wrong. Here comes the Hydra. This is where having the Triomes is nice, late in the game. Dig, dig, dig. Gives me a chance to draw, you know, more Triomes. Attack, attack. And then our birds were gone. They were good birds. But the Hydra had to go. Let's go ahead. I don't think there's any basics left. Oh yeah, there's 2. Why did I say that? Because I just saw that there was only 1 forest. Didn't think about the other 2. Okay. Cool. Okay. Big Klexi is here. Big Klexi. Can you bring it home? We've got a main phase scry from the Omen. What does it mean? And do you keep it? 2 to the bottom. Okay. Well, they don't have an ultimatum. Definitely done that first. Foretell. If they had an epiphany, they could have just cast it. Maybe they're going to try to be more patient about that. Dead Cultivate. Nice. I have a feeling that this is going to die, but we have to try. We could hold it and try to pair it with something, but we just have nothing going. We flood it out on the wrong side of our deck. And if they have nothing and it just shuts down their sagas, we're really happy. So it's worth a try. Stop reaching for that card. Okay, their last card's a Triome as well. At least they drew some Triomes too. Now please draw some Shadow's Verdicts. It's only fair. Down to 8. Okay. Okay. Dig, dig, dig. Scry. They're going through what I went through. Keeps on top. Uh-oh. 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 Not good. They have the Heartless Act. They found the Heartless Act off the top of the deck, too. They all runs Epiphany because they know their top card is an awesome one. Oh, it's just another Epiphany. Okay. Scary, but not the end of the world. Let's see if they want to make a wolf token here. I think they should. They don't. Okay. Oh, they know about the verdict. That's why. That's why. Good reason. Good reason. Oh, it's Behold. Well, if I had drawn a tome, I would have been really happy about that too. I've had such a better draw than them and I'm failing. I definitely messed this game up. Looking back and deciding, like, I guess what we fetched, you know, with the ultimatum, I'm sure at some point is costing us. Oh my goodness. They did keep 2 on top. These cards will not suck. They will be useful. It's very unclear what they are. think the restorations are gone. I think I only had 2. Okay. Now it starts swinging the other way really bad. We need to draw that Fae of Wishes. I know there's only 1 of them, but it could make a huge difference. My god. Also, losing that Kioribest the Sea God to the Nightmare was huge, too. Didn't know it would go this bad, but we've had a stretch of like 4 really bad draws in a row. And we drew a ton of land off that, so... like, the library just turned against us in dramatic fashion. I mean, okay. I think that's 5 draws in a row that have been just complete terror, just complete air. And that was after we cycled all those triomes, too. All right, they don't get to ultimate the Valky, which means we could, if they don't run Negate, we could draw Fae of Wishes and play Ugin. So, I guess we don't scoop just yet. Oh, if you plus this and get a good card after I drew all this crap, I'm going to be salty. I'm warning you. I'm salty already.
Make no mistake.
All right, then. All right, up against rogues, all tapped lands, but we have Extinction Event, Tome, and Binding, and we're on the play. Okay. What could go wrong? We're just going to fill our graveyard for them. We're going to have a bunch of basics. No big deal. Shuffler doing its thing. All right, just gotta do this now, because if we don't, we'll run out of islands. They'll get milled for sure. Like 100 billion% chance they get milled, the way my day's going. All right, we kept a 3-lander. They were all tapped. Now we need an untapped land on 4, because we haven't drawn another land since keeping our hand. The Shuffler is definitely out to get us, but the Tome is going to try to fix it. It's us versus the top of the library, people. Got there. All right, blue or black? Black, I suppose, because of Verdict. Blue would be for Yorion. Did not get countered at all. Nice. Very nice. So now the goal is to find Pelucranos. The opponent will mill us and help us find Pelucranos. Okay, they've got a Wind Robber. Cute little guy. But they did nothing with 2 mana last turn, so they don't have a Thought Thief. And that definitely seemed like a turn where you play the into the story, and they didn't buy Luris. So what's going on? What's going on? What are we actually going to do here? We might just want to draw cards, but we don't want to miss our land, so I guess we'll try to scry for it. Another Binding? Don't need that. You're not Pelucranos. I would like to enchant this with Wolf Willow Haven. I would like to put the great and powerful Yorion into my hand. So they drew a Thought Thief. Okay. What now? Nice to have. Very nice card. This of one mind nonsense. Wow, they are exploring my entire board and graveyard thinking about this play. It better be nice. Crab. Okay. They thought really hard about that. Makes me think they might not have a drown. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. They keep on top. Okay, they have a drown or an into the story. Easy. Let's see, we really do want the land, so we'll try to hit one. Yep. Creatures gain Death Touch. Booyah. We really only want the land to keep moving forward. Don't want to go backwards. Maybe I should have played around Mystical Dispute. Okay, resolves. Let's go after the thief. More signs that they may not have the counter spells. I don't know if we're going to resolve this Yorion. I highly doubt it. So we could either draw a card with Tome or play another Tome and start scrying again. At this point, I'm definitely thinking that I want the cards. And I think I want the spell out of my hand, so it can't be countered later if they wanted to do that. Make another black in case we want to cast Shadow's Verdict and Extinction Event in the same sequence. They've pulled out the rope for this. Enforcer's coming in. Okay, that's a lot of 1-drops. So we need to get to 9 mana to play Yorion and play Event. And Yorion's looking best next turn. We can't get there. Wait, they're drawing now? It's weird. They knew what their top card was, too. Just missed at least a point of damage. Oh well, and a mill. I'll take it. It's an impact card. We can try it. Search the library. Let's grab the red source. Getting to the point where we could draw Valky. All right, I'm sure that they want to counter this. I'm also sure they want to cast into the story. It would make sense that that's the card that they topped. YOLO. So this keeps them from casting into the story for at least a turn here. It's a big deal. Okay. I still think we try to resolve the extinction event. And they might have a Thought Thief. Okay. Always a frickin' tough game, man. Rogues is so tough. Alright, 1 mana open. We could blow up this crab and save ourselves 3 mills. But I want to extinction event it. I just can't be sure that card will resolve. I can't be sure. This might also encourage them to play a crab before they play their next land. They take 3. Okay. Eliminate. So they can drown this in the lock, which they probably will. But it does make them play it, but I guess they want to because they have the mana open. So let's try to make them do that on a future turn instead. Okay. Pelucranos, why you buried? Why you so far down? Come to me. Come to me, my Hydra. All right. No Thought Thief. Okay, here it comes. The avalanche of cards is real. Oh, we're countering that. Wait, you're gonna let me have this? You're gonna let me have this? What? What? Play around Mystical Dispute, make an 8/8. Let's go. What you got? What you got now? How many Enforcers have they played? When we think about attacking with this 8/8, I'm kind of nervous that they're just going to ambush it with another Enforcer. Eight life. 8 life. Pelucranos, come out! I've been through many cards. I need you. This is your fight. You are to be here. Look at all this open mana. They're passing with 7 cards. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Rawr. I just want to draw a card with my tome, man. They're probably going to Heartless Act this. Countering it, they don't have to. If they use a counter, that's okay. Another Drown Gone. Attack you for 8. Opponent plays into the story again. My goodness. Please stop. I'm trying to win. Might as well. I don't know if there's any basics left in there. Exactly 2. Okay. Eight hexproof. The opponent didn't have a Thieves Guild Enforcer. We have an eliminate if they draw one. Although they'll probably make a counter war of it. But here, if they play some creatures, they can block, presumably. They buy Lurrus. Okay. Getting really interesting here, because I can steal that Lurrus. I can steal a Lurrus, guys. I've got toys. I've got a Valky. That's actually... I've got a Valky and some Haven, and that's it. Oh my gosh. Okay, they're going hard on the graveyard, but we still have 30 cards because we're Yorion. You think you're gonna stop us with an army of crabs? There's the Pelucanos. So I want to play this naming odd. They didn't play any even, so I'm kind of mad. Because if I steal the Lurrus here, like... I mean, I still think I do. I think it's the right play, but I am going to probably have to exile it. If I cast this, I can't cast the backside. Okay. Always a question I had. So what do we play with our Lurrus of the Dream Den? Maybe Valky is not bad. They're going to be at 1 life after I cast this Extinction event. Let's do it. Also get a look at this hand. Okay. Cool. I guess having this out isn't going to matter much. Still a lot of pressure. Going down to 1. The 4th into the story. Also, if we bring out the Pelucanos and they steal it, how do we recover from that? How do we recover from that? This hexproof creature is trying to go the distance. We don't want to give them something so big that stealing it could win them the game. So I think we just make 2/2 instead. I know, feels weird. We sort of want them to steal one of these and try to block. Okay, the 4th into the story. The 4th into the story. So the knowledge from Valky was critical. If we had played the Pelucanos and they steal it, we're in huge trouble. So here comes a Thirsty. 5 mana left. Wind Waba. All right. If they lull maged here, and they're trying to save the lull mage, they know about this, so they're going to thirst here instead. But now they need a blocker, because we can bring back the Pelucanos, fight the Windrobber, okay? The Epiphany. They've got mana for Drown in the lock open. They have to counter this then. Or we could bring this back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fight, fight. We've got 2 fights in us. So we can fight both creatures. Then the opponent has to have a 3rd creature, or they have to counter this. If they counter this, we can't Epiphany because we don't have enough untapped lands, actually. Oh my goodness. Time for action. Heartless Act for 3 counters? Nice. And they tapped out. It's over. Death Touch doesn't work on the Pelucranos. Good game. I mean, for a Rogues player, I'll give it to you. That was a game. That was a game. 4 into the freaking stories. Thwarted. And we are back for the post-game wrap, and the deck is still the deck, and I like most things about it, and it is a very good deck for laddering. I think it's a tier 1 deck in the meta. I think you'll get to Mythic with it if you don't mind playing a very tried and true strategy in the meta, a proper net deck, and I think this is a rock-solid best-of-1 list. So this deck has a very high endorsement for Mythic grinding for those of you out to do that, and it won't get less powerful with Strixhaven. It might get more powerful. Let's look at some of the cards that are coming next week in the new set that might slot immediately into this Sultai deck. The first one I have here is Eureka Moment. You're going to get some Growth Spiral flashbacks, and we remember how good that card was. It's 2 and a green and a blue, and it has draw 2 cards. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. So it's the combination of card draw and its ramp, and I think it's a very solid card. I'm not sure if a best-of-1 format is the right place for it, as it could slow you down too much to cast a spell like this if you're taking too much damage. If I were to take something out and put Eureka Moment in, I would probably cut the Maze Mind Tomes because they do similar things of getting card advantage, but this ramps as well. But I think Maze Mind Tome is better in an aggro meta because of the life gain. Next up is Professor Onyx. Liliana is looking fine. This card has a lot of text. I'll leave it to you guys if you want to read through each line. I also go over all these in my podcast with Arjuna, the MTG Arena Craft. But what I will say about this deck card specifically in Emergent Ultimatum is the curve is great. You can play Shadow's Verdict on 5. You can play Cultivate on 3, Shadow's Verdict on 5. Then on 6 mana, you play the Professor. The +1 digs you closer to your Ultimatum or your big spells. The -3 can defend the land by making the opponent sacrifice their best thing. Or when you cast Ultimatum, you can put Professor Onyx and Vorinclex in there and possibly get the -8 right away, which can, if the opponent doesn't have much of a hand, just be lethal if you just do it the turn it enters the battlefield. I think 1 and maybe 2 of these at the most might see play in Emergent Ultimatum decks. And then the next one, in kind of flavorful fashion, is Emergent Sequence. Emergent Sequence is 1 in a green for a sorcery that searches your library for a land, and it puts it onto the battlefield tapped, and then you shuffle it. The land becomes a 0/0 green-blue fractal creature, but it's still a land. Put a +1/+1 counter on it for each land that entered the battlefield under your control this turn. So at first you're like, okay, if we took out Wolfwillow Haven and we added Emergent Sequence, and on turn 2, we tapped 1 in a green and fetched a swamp, and it came out, and we had played a land earlier that turn, then it's a 2/2. The opponent can Bone Crush it and destroy it. That's sad. I agree. That is sad. But think about what this can also do. You can't Brazen Borrow that land. There are times when that could be a problem. You can't hit it with Binding the Old Gods because it's still a land. Anything that says non-land permanent can't touch the Emergent Sequence creature. Also, picture this sequence. You have a Binding the Old Gods that just went off, so you fetched a land. You play your land for turn. It's a Fabled Passage. You sacrifice it. You fetch another land. You tap 2 mana. You cast the Emergent Sequence. You fetch another basic land. You made a 4/4. A 4/4 for 2 mana, and you ramped. Like, that's pretty good. It has a lot of upside. It has some downside too. It's not clear that you need this card, but it might be an interesting card from the new set to play in the already best deck. So if I were testing the new cards in this deck, I would cut Wolfwillow Haven and test Emergent Sequence. I would cut Maze Mind Tome, and I would test Names Are Hard, Eureka Moment, and I would cut... I don't know. It's hard to take out Pelucranos because people will still run rogues. Maybe it's okay to cut an Extinction Event and run a Liliana and just see how she does. Maybe 1 Ulrun's Epiphany can be trimmed to try a Liliana. 3 is a bit, probably more than we need. So that's what I would do with the new cards when they drop. And we've already set up your sideboard, so you don't have to worry about the new sideboard nerf hitting you. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I hope you stayed till the end and enjoyed the extra tech. Remember to mark the calendar. Next Wednesday, come out to Twitch, support me over there. It's always cool to see the YouTube army invade and celebrate the new cards. And think about dropping a Twitch Prime Gaming subscription as a way to support the channel for free if you're already an Amazon Prime member. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I'll see you in the next video. You're cool.